kamushumoy kare kare zuva kuira pasina mushumoy kumuvera mangwana nikakutsvaga mushumoy kare kare kuringe zhira kamushumoy uchagare kamwanawe aiwe uchagare kamwanawe aiwe uchagare kamwanawe aiwe uchagare kamwanawe uchagare kamwanawe aiwe uchagare kamwanawe uchagare kamwanawe aiwe uchagare kamwanawe uchagare
When we started, when TC right next to me, myself and Ruvimbo started exactly 12 months ago, we were not looking into just creating an event and bringing the vibes, but we're looking into building a community, and I think we have done just that. A cultured republic, a cultured community of excited, young, whether it's entrepreneurs, whether it's somebody trying to rise up the corporate ladder. I think we have done just that. So let's clap hands for the Cultured Republic. Thank you. Our global theme this year has been Don't Just Survive, Thrive in 2026. Are we thriving? Yes. Are we pushing? Yes. We're pushing, all right. So tonight is about examining how you make decisions in a shifting world, because how you interpret global signals shapes your local moves, and those moves determine the real consequences your business will face. I'll give an example. You know, a lot has happened between the last cocktails and conversations and now, right? There's been a war, there's been this. And you know, it's you think, no, it will affect them where they are. It's not here. But not until my employees sent me an email to say, ma'am, please revise our transport allowance. Right, so it did come down to us, the SMEs, the small businesses, big businesses. It's affecting everyone, and that is why we are here. We have amazing conversation leaders lined up for you to help us navigate these global transformations that affect us here or affect you as an individual, as a company. So please help me welcome them. They're right in front of me. I will introduce each and every one of them. Okay. But before we get into it, right, we're also hungry to know how can we help ourselves with everything that is happening. How long is it going to last? Will it end? And whichever way it goes, we need to be ready for it. And they are here to help us be ready for that. But before we get into that, let's get to know each other a little bit more. As always, I have a small game, and I hope everyone can participate. Today, I will select the first person. I'll give them a little note to read out loud, and they have to answer to whatever is on the note. Scary, isn't it? Yeah. And sorry, did I introduce myself? Pardon my manners. My name is Leanne Hall Chimbira. I am a physiotherapist by training, a wellness expert. I love wellness, everything wellness. I'm happily married to Brian Arangondi Juma, but you know, yeah. And I have twin boys. So trust me when I say I am seasoned in juggling things and making everything work. All right, so let's get right into our game. I will start with, where is the general? The general is right here. Yes, this is a real army general. Please be respectful. Thank you.
What is in here?
Okay.
Shake hands with someone whose smile makes them stand out.
Did you hear that, everyone? His instruction was to shake hands with somebody whose smile makes them stand out.
See her smile. She's got a nice smile.
Oh, so while at it, you get to introduce yourself and also in 10 seconds, tell us what you do.
10 seconds.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Stacy, and I'm here with my business partner. We are soon to be launching Zimbabwe and Southern Africa's first AI-driven influencer marketing platform.
Okay, General, please select the next person to pick from this.
I think the general manager for Samsung, right here.
Oh, we have the general manager for Samsung right next to me. Please introduce yourself and then you can read out the note.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Garai Wekwete. I'm the country manager for Samsung. Let's see what we got here. Shake hands with someone who is run away from a bug.
You can stand up and look. Take your time.
The unfortunate thing is Sokostina is the only person that I can force for this one. So, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, before I pass on the mic to the real Sokostina, because but this is the real one. Do you have any giveaways? Some cell phones, tablets that you brought with you today?
Well, not today, but I can give away something branded. I think so. We'll talk for something a bit later.
All right.
And I'll whoever wins it, then I'll organize to give them.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much. And here with me is the real Sokostina. You can say what you do, please, in 10 seconds.
But what I do is longer than 10 seconds. Anyway, I stay in the gutter. My name is Tendai Garwe. That's the legal one. And Sokostina is my other name. I am a broadcaster and a humanitarian. I head the production for NRTV. At the moment, I'm consulting for WFP. So that's why I said I'm a broadcaster and humanitarian.
Thank you. So you get to select who goes next.
Oh yeah, I'll pick a random person. Someone I don't.
Someone you don't know.
Someone I don't.
I think this corner looks like they want to say something.
Someone wants to say. I'll pick someone looking shy.
Hello, my name is Miracle Shamiso Mitlen. Can you hear me now? My name is Shamiso Miracle Mitlen. I am a data science student at the University of Zimbabwe, and I'm also launching my brand. It's an accessories brand called Maita. We have jewelry, heels, and also sunglasses.
There you go. What am I supposed to pick, read, and follow instructions?
All right. Let's see here. It says, shake hands with someone who looks like they're good at dancing.
Take your time.
All right, let's see here. You look like you're good at dancing.
You get to introduce yourself in 10 seconds.
Okay, my name is Shelton Matongoni. I'm a sales manager for DK Fine Chem. We sort of like supply specialty chemicals to construction companies and several companies that do manufacturing. Most of them are in your retail spaces, your hardwares and stuff like that. Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome and thank you. Do you mind if I pass on the microphone for you? I want to move to the other side.
But can you dance?
Can you dance? Huh? let's take a few more cocktails and then we will decide. Okay. Hello, ladies. Yeah, I need I target newcomers. There you go. So you can introduce yourself and then pick a card.
So my name is Annie Nelson. I'm a Senior Compliance Associate at Cambridge Associates, which is a U.S. asset manager.
Did you hear that? They didn't.
I have to do it again? Yeah. Can you hear me now? So my name is Annie Nelson. I'm a Senior Compliance Associate at Cambridge Associates, which is a U.S.-based asset manager.
Okay.
I read one word. Oh, shake hands with someone who looks like they cheated in their exams. There was a laugh in this corner. Wow. It's the way you laughed.
All right, that's fine.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mutsa Samuel Kajese, CEO of Koronga Corporations. We are a family-owned investment firm with interests in real estate, agriculture, securities trading, mining, and education.
Is it your first time?
It is my first time, yes.
Welcome. You can pick.
I am a virgin, yes.
I believe that.
Shake hands with somebody who looks like they like to travel.
Don't we all?
Let me do this corner since we've been neglected.
Yes, who looks like they like to travel. Hi.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, what do I do?
Just introduce yourself and pick a paper.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Joyce, and I'm a biochemist.
Did you hear that? Yes, okay. You didn't hear that?
Hi, my name is Joyce, and I'm a biochemist. Okay, my paper says shake hands with someone who looks like they give very good advice.
You can move out. You can go anywhere in the room.
Ooh. Hi.
All right, good evening, everyone. How are you? Great. My name is Tracy Uche. I'm a spa owner. I'm a certified coach. I am a mentor. I am a mom. And I love everything giving advice, so she was correct about that.
Yep.
Ooh. It says I should shake hands with someone who I think is wife material. Allow me to scan the room. I think she looks like she could be wife material.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tariro. Yes. Oh. My name is Tariro. I am an occupational therapist. I am the founder of Serene Potential Occupational Therapy. And if you want to know more about that, we can always have a chat after. Thank you. Says, shake hands with someone whom you think is good at running.
Not me.
Very far away from here.
Running. I'm an athlete myself, so I should be able to pick one. Allow me to move through the room.
Okay.
All right. This one. Am I wrong?
I'm good at running. Yes, I've been known to run my mouth. Yeah. I like that.
Nice one.
Okay, shake hands with someone who looks like they have $500 in their wallet right now. Okay, where my rich folk at? The rich people. But everyone looks like they got $500. Should I go back this side? Okay, there we go. This man here looks like he's got $500 in his pocket.
You can introduce yourself and read the last paper.
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Tatenda. I'm into construction. We are a developer.
We can hear you.
Sorry?
We can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Hi, my name is Tatenda. I'm a developer. I'm into construction. We do cluster developments, change of uses, anything that is to do with construction, we are in it. So if you want a turnkey project, you can also talk to us. We can sort you out. So let me read what's written here. Oh, okay. So mine is saying, shake hands with someone who looks like a boss at work. Someone who looks like a boss at work. So I need to look for a boss. Let me see if I can pick a boss. Maybe a lady boss. Hey, there are too many ladies in this place. So I'm not sure if I'm to pick a lady boss or I should pick a gent. He has spoken before. Okay, my friend. You could be an entrepreneur, so I had to pick him.
All right. Evening, everyone. My name is Nunudzai. I work as a consultant, so I do cybersecurity consulting as well as data protection consulting. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And I know after you hear what other people do, you're like, I need to talk to that person. I need to talk to that person. But please allow me to introduce our first conversation leader. And then after that, we will get a 10-minute networking break. Is that fair? All right. Okay, so I had to summarize his profile. Otherwise, we'll take another 30 minutes introducing this man. Can everyone still hear me? Okay. So our first conversation leader is Dr. Joseph Kanyekanye, who is a Zimbabwean business leader born in 1967 with a strong background in forestry, academia, and corporate leadership. He holds a diploma in forestry with distinction, a BSc honors in wood and paper science from the University of Wales, a doctorate in business administration. He began his career as a forester, later becoming a lecturer at the SADC Forest Industries Training Center. He rose to senior leadership at Allied Timbers Holdings, serving as managing director and later group CEO, where he led major commercial transformation efforts. In 2015, he transitioned into entrepreneurship, becoming executive chairman of Alliance Holdings. Throughout his career, he has received multiple industry awards and held numerous board and leadership positions across Zimbabwe's business sector. Dr. Kanyekanye is known for his optimistic outlook, belief in adaptability in business, a commitment to building high-performing and innovative teams. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our first conversation leader, Dr. Joseph Kanyekanye.
All right, okay. Thank you very much. My mother would have given a smaller introduction by simply saying, it's Joseph Kanyekanye, raised in Mutare, studied in London, and worked in Zimbabwe, but he's still Joseph Kanyekanye from Sakuva, Mutare. Thank you very much. So what I'm going to try and do is to try and dissect what I consider to be prominent global impacts that will have an impact on all of you here. And largely that will focus on what is happening in Iran, and to some extent what has already happened with the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. So essentially, I think most of you are aware that Israel and the US attacked Iran, and what has happened so far, to say the least, is a dog's breakfast. I will try to explain without sounding very political about it, but the bottom line is that we don't know, and I also know that Trump does not know the exact reason why they attacked Israel, because there have been many stories. What is quite clear is that the impact on the world has been quite traumatic, to say the least. One of the largest companies involved in asset management, I think the largest asset management company in the whole world is called BlackRock. I think BlackRock manages about 12.5 trillion assets on their portfolio. They actually project that because of the war, there's going to be a recession worse than what happened in 2008. Some of you, judging by the age in 2008, you were still at college. But in 2008, America did what they've never done before. The US government actually lent money to bankers. Not only that, they lent money to people that had misused money so that financial systems would stay afloat. So when you hear someone like BlackRock suggesting that there will be a serious problem, I think for all of you that didn't see 2008, you are about to learn how to run a business in a turbulent environment. So brace up and prepare for it. I'm going to propose strategies to deal with that. The other thing that has also happened is that amidst all this that is happening, China and Russia are making some serious bucks. So the Chinese always say a threat may be an opportunity for other people. So as the world is cringing and all that, China, Russia are testing their missiles through Iran to attack the US and what have you. So they are making money out of it. Sadly for us, most of us in the so-called third world, we are only observers of events, but they impact on us heavily. In fact, I would go on to say that the mere fact that the state of Moses that people are talking about, which most of you, when you went through geography lessons, you never actually looked at it, that is affecting us. It affects 30%, not 20%, 30% of sea-bound oil. It affects about 20% of natural gas that passes through there. So that is a ripple effect economy, because an energy crisis literally affects your workers' employee, their household consumption, it affects transport, it affects production of goods and services, and ultimately to lead to inflation. So brace yourself for inflation all over the country. And we had our own issue of inflation. We found an innovative way of measuring it wrongly, but even then, the current inflation that's coming through will not be able to disguise it. Amidst all this, one of the things that really puzzles people like me is that the US government has a lot of qualified PhD guys in every field who monitor events and who must predict what the war was. But judging by what we have seen so far, it looks like Donald Trump and his cabinet did not seem to be aware that Iran playing an asymmetric war was going to cause this type of crisis. It's quite evident that whoever did the planning, I would suggest and equate him to probably a rat with an advanced stage of syphilis, because it's quite bad. It's a bad planning, and it has plunged the whole world into turmoil. But having said so, let's now look at what is it that Iran has said. Trump wants this war to end in 6 weeks. It's not ending in 6 weeks, as you know. It's going to go much longer. Iran has come up with some demands which, knowing Trump, you will not accept. One of them, obviously, is that they need to be paid. They need reparations for all the bombing that has happened. That's a couple of billions and so forth. They need the removal of sanctions. They also require protection of their regional proxies, like Ebola. They also require that their developments of missiles should not be tampered with. It's not for discussion. Nuclear armament, yes, but not on the missiles. They've also said they want the state of Hamas to be recognized as part of Iran. Right now, they claim it, but it's not recognized as part of them. So with that in mind, there are serious impacts that are coming in. So let me do it at a global level and then contextualize in Zimbabwe. For Zimbabwe, I will use heuristics, experience, and so forth. I've sat on boards of NASA, manufacturing companies, and so forth, mining companies. So I probably want to use that insight to probably explain what may happen. Because whether you're a consultant or you're a startup, you are going to be affected. If Big Brother is sick, you always catch diarrhea, one way or the other. So there's no one who's going to escape from this. So the first impact, obviously, is inflation. Inflation is not good for business. So there is a projection that global inflation will go up. Can I tell you this? The US is projecting that inflation, with what has happened now, will go to 4.2%. Now, anyone who has been in the USA, stayed in the US, would understand that is quite a scary figure by all standards. We are used to hyperinflation, but even our own manufactured inflation figures in US dollar terms will actually have to go up because you can't disguise it. I think those of you who have gone to the garages so far, you've seen the fuel has gone up. It's going to go through almost everything that we do, including manufacturing. The other issue is that there will be a slowing of growth. The World Bank estimates that there will be a 1.1 to 2% decline in growth in 2026. Even the US economy is expected to shrink. There will also be supply chains disruptions. We've already seen that for wheat, which Zimbabwe was importing from Ukraine, that now it's a little bit difficult. Wheat price went up by 40% owing to the disturbance in Ukraine. You also see similar arrangements in terms of fuel. We have been getting our fuel from various sources, with a lot of it being pumped through the pipeline into Harare. But obviously that may change. And I think Nigeria probably is one area we should look at, because Dangote, with his fuel capacity, with some excesses that have been reported, and Angola perhaps trying to do something. I'll talk about what the region can do to try and mitigate the circumstance. Now, if we go to specific economies, the GCC economies, they are bound to contract by about 0.2%. If you look at Iran itself, Iran is projected to shrink by 10% minimum. This is on a best case scenario. A best case scenario is that the war is resolved within a couple of weeks and we go back to what we used to be. The US recession, the possibility of recession in the US now has been projected to, is increased by 30%. So there is likely to be a recession in the US. What I can tell you about the US, for those who have stayed in the US, is that the average American, when they feel the price of gas, the price of everything has gone up, and there is a downturn, they vote in a manner that takes out such leaders. As they say in the US, any political leader is like a napkin. They get soiled and you throw them away. So Trump has soiled himself, however you look at it, based on what has happened so far. So with that in mind, where do we go? Where do we move in terms of that? So I've looked at the specific impact. Okay. I also want to look at the impact on commodity markets. Now, a lot of you assume this is just fuel, but there is a greater danger, particularly for Africa. We use fertilizers. Unfortunately, most of our fertilizers are imported. And what has happened since, in case you have not been following, the price of fertilizer is actually shot up by 40% on account of what has happened here. Because the whole process of producing fertilizer requires use of petroleum. Sulfur, which is a major product in other things as well, again, the Gulf countries that are affected by war, which have been bombed, they account for 45% of world production of sulfur. So if you think of anything that requires sulfuric acid or any of these other chemicals, pharmacists and what have you, that is going to be affected as well, because the price will definitely go up and supply will be limited. So what does it mean for Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe have seen the impact, okay? I have my own thoughts as to how Mutuli treated the impact. But on the fuel increase, we've already seen that it has gone up. I must say, and here I can say with authority, that what Mutuli did on the price increase is wrong. What they did is the government decided to get a bit of a windfall from fuel that was already in the country, and then they increased the fuel. There were levies on fuel, but they increased it further on. This is why we have over 39% increase in fuel, which in my view is unjustifiable. It's unjustified. And I think at CZ level, at CZ level, I'm the chairman for CZ National Council for Funding and Investment. We've already done a paper where we are saying that no, we should go down in terms of the fuel prices that are coming through. Zimbabwe also has a bit of a problem. Our economy is very dependent on few sectors. Let me be very blunt and model and so forth, but let's cut to the crash. When you talk of Zimbabwe, it's just 4 products, or rather 3 products. We are a 3-legged pot. It's gold, which accounts for 25% of our production. It's certain agricultural products, mostly tobacco and whatever, that accounts for quite some significant. Then it's mining, platinum, and so forth. I can say if you take that and you bring in a little bit of what you get from diaspora remittances, we are all involved in commerce, but really these are the big players in terms of what makes this economy crack. I would suggest that these particular sectors that I've suggested are going to be affected by what is happening. So let's move on to what do we do? How do we cope? How do you deal with such a situation? There are various coping mechanisms. I'll look at coping mechanism at a national or macroeconomic level. I'll also then look at coping from a point of company level, at individual, SME levels, and so forth. I hate to say it, but in terms of energy and everything else, Zimbabwe now has options to diversify energy options. Unfortunately, this is not a short-term measure. If all of us in this country were to do the normal and right thing to do, put solar on your houses, get yourself off the grid, that would help the economy. And I think we might need to do something to try and force such a situation. Because we need to reduce dependence on imported fuel. The other thing that I would say, and I'm saying it here, you can quote me, I'm not scared about what I'm saying, is that there are too many cars, too many inefficient cars on our roads. I'm not anti-VITs, but there are too many VITs on the roads, and that basically is not a sustainable proposition for this country. Where we import fuel, and you need to go to a schoolyard when kids are being picked. I was at Peterhouse today, ironically, to pick my child, also using a car. Oh, stupid me. Okay, but bottom line is that there were cars lined up all over, and we could actually use public transport or enhance something public transport to sort that out. In the long term, we need to do that because we are using fuel like it's the next best thing to slice bread. The other thing that we need to do is some economic reforms of our own. We need some investments that gives us some resilience as a country from ensuring that we are not dependent on simple commodities. When you are dependent on agricultural commodities that require fertilizer, you are less likely to cushion the shocks that come from global price increases. When you are dependent on imported energy, almost 100% of it, you are in a horrible situation to be able to deal with all that. So my suggestion is that with respect to energy and so forth, a lot more of generation of power, even electrical power, the BYD cars using electricity are available now in Zimbabwe. In Harare, at least we know where they are. And I'm sure you guys have test driven 1 or 2. I think that is the way to go. You may not like it, but that's the way to go. For companies, this is where we have a problem. I think for companies, you can only employ what I call hedging tactics, wherein you have to find an innovative way of dealing with those costs. Hedging for companies is one to pass on costs if you have got the elasticity required in the market. The other option is where you can actually look at you can look at how else you can manufacture your products. In other words, you can change where you source your raw materials. You can change in terms of replacement of some of the inputs in your production system so that you are effective. But that's a lot that is required in Zimbabwe, particularly when you realize over the past 15, 20 years, we've had a cumulative deindustrialization. So there is very little funds for that. I also talked about supply chain adaptation. I think you might need to change. If you're procuring fuel, for example, through road from Beira, it was banned before, but it was reinstated. It actually means that if you're using road transport rather than piping through the pipeline, your fuel becomes more expensive. So these are some of the taxes that are there, that when you pay for diesel, you're actually paying a pipeline cost and all the other costs that are there. And government may want to revert back to the original UDI system, where that pipeline was wholly owned by the state. It was not subject to individuals wanting to profiteer from that. So these are some of the challenges that needs to be done. So, but what are the opportunities? I think it was Shakespeare who said, it was the worst of times, but the best of times. There are also opportunities that arise despite the gloom and all. What has happened is that through what I call Trumpism and his propensity for going for war, we now have a situation where a lot of people are running away from the United States dollar. They are going for safety in gold. For some of you and some of us who are in the gold industry, I hate to say this, but this was one of the best years of our lives. I can tell you, if your revenue was 100,000 per month, with what has happened on the gold price, your revenue is certainly over $300,000 per month for the same production level. So for us in the gold industry, this Trump war and this invasion of Iraq has been good for business, but bad for morality. There is also a need for opportunities, investment in alternative energy. The mere fact that we now have problems with supply of fuel, because right now in Zimbabwe, we are talking about pricing, but I feel if this goes on for some time, we'll end up with a situation where there'll be shortages. Such shortages will cause problems. So let me conclude by two scenarios that I see. With respect to the Iran-Iraq war, which is basically the most problematic that we have, I will give you what I think is the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. But for those of you who have done scenario analysis or business strategy, you always plan on the worst case scenario. So the worst case scenario is that there will be a prolonged war. There will be recession, there will be an energy crisis, and there will be a humanitarian crisis. Based on what I see on the mentality of Trump, Trump is not someone who capitulates easily. This is the most likely scenario, in my view. I don't think this war will just involve bombing a few Iranians and so forth. Iran has a history over 2,000 years. Before America was even figured out what it was, Iran was already writing on paper and rulers. So they have a Persian culture of pride, and it's unlikely to be annihilated by someone with who is over 80 years, no matter how armed he is. So the most likely scenario is that even if you bomb them to the ground, there will be some sort of insurgency. I can't say Hezbollah and the other entities there simply saying we've been defeated by America and that's it. No, it will be death to America for generations to come. So a prolonged crisis, in my view, is likely what's going to happen. So what does it mean for business? Brace yourself. Brace yourself. If you have savings, use them appropriately. If you have a business that you are doing, don't go into businesses that are energy demanding. Don't go into business that are more susceptible to what is going on here because they are bound to fail at some point in time. The best case scenario is a swift resolution which will lead to stabilized markets, economic recovery, and diplomatic resolution. I think this is what is at play currently. And I think the understanding is that when Trump invaded, Iran, I think his assumption was that it would take 6 weeks. I think he assumed what he did in Venezuela would happen. Venezuela was led by this driver, what's his name, Maduro, the former driver. So they just gave him a forced Uber drive into the US, on air, of course. But the bottom line is that Iran is not like that. Ukraine, as you have seen, Ukraine versus Russia is like an elephant versus a little insect. If you look at the reports that have been coming just today, Ukraine has actually invaded some parts of Russia today. Very unthinkable, But right now, warfare is not done in the old days where you had people that were fed properly and soldiers that were equipped. Warfare is technological warfare now. So the little boy with a little technology can actually take out the entire nation made of giants. So as matter stands, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm simply putting across to you is that there is an energy crisis. There is likely to be a long, prolonged process, and I think you need to brace yourself as individuals and entity. And please, please, don't go and invest in entities that require a lot of fuel at this point in time. If your 5-year business plan was to sell paraffin in Murewa, you just shelve it for the time being. There are other things to do. Thank you. So I remain here. Do I remain here?
Sorry?
Do I remain
Yes,
here?
please.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Kanyekanye. Now, questions. All right. We have questions this side.
Thank you. Good evening, Doctor. Mine is a two-part question. The first part is, in fact, I'll give it as a statement. Zimbabwe sits in a unique situation where we are blessed with resources, and at the same time, we are burdened by a very burdensome taxation system. Do you see it in your vast knowledge that, A, Mr. Dr. Mthuli Ncube is going to look at the situation and say, Zimbabweans, I think I've taken enough taxes from you. Let me take a break from here, here, and here, and there to make the economy survive this troublesome time we're going to face. And the second part is, how best do you see the country benefiting from, say, this current push that we have for minerals, such as antimony, lithium, those special minerals, those are required in those special manufacturing processes. Will they be able to aid our nation in these troublesome times? As an analyst, I believe that Trump is not going to let up, and we're going to see a longer war with Iran. That's my question, sir.
Okay.
I can answer it. I'm sure you can hear my voice. Okay. Let me start with the first question. The first question is that if you look at the fiscal environment for government of Zimbabwe from 1980 up to now, in 1 second, I can tell you 1980 to 1998, it was just consumption. It was a consumption-based, but education to all, everything to all, the things that the UN and NGOs would want to talk about. No pun intended here. But that's basically what happened. And then we went for economic structural adjustment. This time it was not the NGOs coming in. It is the financiers of the NGOs coming in and saying, you guys, your economy needs to be restructured. In other words, let go of the things that we're doing. If we're giving your members 2 chickens every week for their supper, maybe make it 1 chicken. But that still did not work. Then post that, where this independence, what I call sovereign independence, wherein the companies, entities started emulating what China did. China came out as a role model, where in the 1920s or so, China was almost about 2% of world GDP. And I think by now, in 2024, China is close to about maybe 20 or thereabout, slightly below the US. So people started saying, no, we don't have to follow this model, let's use another model. And I think, to all credit to China, they actually managed they feed 20% of the world's population with 7% of the land surface, of our land area surface. But going back to your question, I don't see the current government is not shown from 1980 up to now. Fiscal, what I call, they are not frugal. They've never been frugal. I think if you have noticed, my generation would have noticed, ministers used to drive 544 trucks, then they went to E-Class Mercedes, then they followed us as CEOs when we started driving Land Cruisers. They wanted to be bigger than us, they went for Land Cruisers. When they realized we own Land Cruisers, then they went for a Land Cruiser, plus a Raptor onto it. So basically that's a pattern of, there's no frugality involved. So to answer your question, I don't see Mthuli Ncube coming down in terms of taxation, because his is aggressive taxation, what I call supply-side taxation, if you understand what I mean.
What of the IMTTs?
Sorry? Oh.
IMTT tax.
Yeah, no, we will talk about that. So the tax you're talking about was actually a tax which was done to try and increase the revenues. But here's the trick. Amidst all that, do you know he reports what he calls a fiscal surplus? In another time, in another place, we'll talk about it. But the bottom line to your question is that the government is unlikely to be less aggressive on tax. The fuel situation that happened now, government has not only passed the cost, but they've added something extra for themselves. So given that pattern, it doesn't work. And I can tell you, I was president of CZI from 2007 to 2010. One of the things that we did was basically to manage to reduce the tax. Even the last budget that was done, we made presentation. Your second question was to do with, sorry?
Minerals.
Oh, minerals, yes, I agree. Yeah, minerals, I think you are quite right as an analyst. Zimbabwe, I'm going to use a sexist example and I'll be forgiven because of my age, I suppose. If Zimbabwe was a woman, I would call her Beyonce. Huh? Beautiful and a good singer. Unfortunately, our Beyonce here does not sing. What I'm putting across is that we have a lot of minerals. Literally, Zimbabwe is gold under its surface. There's a lot of minerals. But sometimes because of our policies and other things, we don't realize the full potential. But you are right that if you leverage minerals, it works. And to the credit of the current dispensation, they have actually leveraged minerals to a point where without minerals, cities like Chegutu, Kadoma, and these other ones will be dead, including Mutar. So what has happened now is that we now have gold accounting for the highest volume of export revenues, which is quite an improvement on this one. So yes, there is potential to do that, particularly in gold, because there's gold all over. There is a lot of stuff. In my view, rather than doing projects where you go around, you get 20 youths and you say, do an orchard and whatever, which is a waste of time in my view. I think they are better off taking them to Blair School of Mining, give them a 1-month thorough course on how to mine gold and whatever, buy them a little compressor and all that. They'll start making money and they'll become rich. That's the sort of thing that gold is something where we should be investing. The world is moving away from the American petrodollar to actually gold. So it's something that we should be doing. Thank you.
Hi, Doc. Thank you so much for that amazing talk. It was very insightful. So my question in relation is almost related to what you were just speaking about in terms of we need to move away from energy-heavy industries. So recently, the government launched their AI strategy. Business who is leveraging AI, obviously it's always better to have things that are homegrown. Is that something that you think would be delayed and that for now it's not something that we should look at from a Zimbabwean perspective?
So my take on AI is that AI is unavoidable. Huh? My generation went from using things by hand. When I went to university, that's when the internet was coming in. And then when I left, there were other things that were coming in and so forth. But AI, in my view, is the way to go for any country, for fairly obvious reasons. I think for most of what I call our comatose industries, AI presents an opportunity to leapfrog. Because also in terms of decision making, even political decision making, I dare say, I think if you use an algorithm to make a decision, it's faster, it's more efficient than anything that we can come up with. But also the other thing that I need to make you aware of is that because of AI and because of the current structure of employment stands in Zimbabwe, I used to be president of Employers Federation of Zimbabwe. Most of what we call jobs here in Zimbabwe are basic, simple jobs that can be done by machines. So I hate to say it, but if we embrace AI the way it should and the way other countries are going to go, we are likely to have a scenario where most of the basic jobs are going to disappear. They have to disappear. If you go to what we call industry, manufacturing, where I spent 30 years in, a lot of these can actually be removed quite easily. So I don't think we can run away from AI. My only plea is that concurrent with the inevitable coming of AI, it's important that government invests in the infrastructure, because without that infrastructure, it doesn't work. And also, I think also what is lacking is, I know there was a regulatory process, thing that was being put in. I don't think in Zimbabwe it's correctly regulated. I think we need a framework that regulates it so that it can be used properly. As we are aware, it can also be abused.
Yes. One last question, any? Or I can close off. There is one last question.
Good evening, Doctor. My question, since you worked with CZI, why is it that our government has not really done much to close up the borders to get more revenue through, duty collections that way, as opposed to trying to tax everything? I work for an electronics company, and the biggest challenge is competing with smuggled goods. And immediately, if you're looking at devices, that's 25% duty, 15% VAT. If you're looking at a TV, that's 40% duty, 15% VAT. If you're looking at a refrigerator, that's 85% duty, 15% VAT. But yet all these things come in on a daily basis and are smuggled, and it's known they're smuggled. And then on the second part is we've got a problem with counterfeit goods. Why is it that those things are not acknowledged, but yet every day we hear or we see headlines about counterfeit products, and yet none of those things which I've raised are actually addressed? Well, I would like to just understand.
Okay, so here's my take on how international trade has evolved. And here I also want to plead guilty for some of the mistakes. In the 90s, coming on to now, I've been in CZI all that period. We moved for globalization. And I'm sure the UN and all these other entities will tell you that globalization is the way to go. So we actually went along with removal of tariffs, duties, and everything else. And we did that in good faith. And I must say, in hindsight, we're very naive. We assumed that if we open the borders, everyone will come in, everyone will trade freely. But in the real world, my brother, in the real world, people cheat, companies cheat. Malaysia's Proton car is based on cheating. They were subsidizing while assuming everything is there. South Africa is a 40% rebate on any car that comes in this country. So here's the reality that has happened. Because we opened up genuinely for the world, we don't have an industry now. We opened our borders, allowed everyone to come through. So we now have a situation where rather than focusing on earning duty on imported goods, that is, in my view, a wrong way how a country should advance. We should focus on creating value addition in the country that generates money from taxes as well as create employment in the country. If we just keep on just importing things as they are, that's a problem. And I'll also tell you something that would be, we've done what is called the Southern Africa Free Trade Area, which is coming into effect in 2035. In 2035, no one will pay duty for anything that comes in Zimbabwe from Africa. And I fear that because there's going to be mass death of industries as a result. So the globalization is good, but if you don't have capacity to invest in your own country and you have not prepared for it, you end up killing your own local market. Unfortunately, this is what has happened in Zimbabwe. So I'm not a fan of importing finished goods into Zimbabwe. If I was the president of this country, one of the things that I would do is I would remove or ban importation of luxury cars in this country. We can do without them. I would do away with importing cornflakes, some of the stuff you see in the store, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. My mother goes and works in a cotton field, sells tobacco, and then someone imports cornflakes or what do you call human hair, what do you call it, women wig, what do you call it, Brazilian hair. No, I will not do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kanyekanye. Please, once again, let's give him a hand of applause. Okay, while we allow that to sink in, We're going to just give everyone a 5-minute break to network. Like I said, I'm sure someone heard someone else introduce themselves and said, I want to talk to that person. This is a 5-minute break to top up your drinks, to order your food, and to network. See you shortly. Ready? Thank you. Ruvimbo. All right. We're moving on to the next segment of our program. And before we introduce our spotlight conversation leader, I just wanted to let you guys know, in case you didn't know, that Ruvimbo and I, in our spare time, we are models. So a lot of people ask us, who does your makeup? Which makeup do you use? And so we decided today to invite the founder of House of Langa, or Langa Cosmetics, because we go to her. She sponsors our makeup for every segment of Cocktails and Conversations. This is a makeup line made by one of us for us. So allow me to introduce to you Langa. She's a former Miss Universe Zimbabwe, proudly representing the nation in Las Vegas in 1996. She is a passionate Pan-Africanist, entrepreneur, and creative visionary. She is the founder and creative director of House of Langa, a brand dedicated to formulating, manufacturing, and retailing natural mineral makeup and heritage ingredient-driven skincare. A working mother who values collaboration, she actively engages with like-minded women to build, inspire, and grow. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she expanded her entrepreneurial footprint by launching the Edge Cafe, reflecting her deep love for food and community. She's an award-winning entrepreneur, recognized as the 2014 Zimbabwe International Women's Awards Entrepreneur of the Year, and a past winner of the Rothmans Designer of the Year Award. A self-starter at heart, she embraces every stage of business as a learning journey. Driven by curiosity and a commitment to continuous growth, she is an eternal learner who constantly seeks new ways to evolve, innovate, and make meaningful impact. Please allow me to introduce to you all Langa.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, you make me sound a bit wonderful, which I am. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Leanne has already introduced me, so wonderful. I just really want to thank her and Ruvimbo for allowing me just a few minutes to talk to you. Maybe, gentlemen, you can close your ears, but keep your wallets open because we are talking about makeup. So everyone asked me why I started what I have done now. Back in the day, in the early 90s, when I was modeling, there just wasn't a foundation for me. And my skin is amazing. It's dark, it's beautiful. But why was it lacking behind in terms of the big established brands? They sort of forgot me. And one day I was sitting and I thought, do you think Mac, do you think Bobby Brown knows I exist? And I thought, if they don't know that I exist, I will make something that will count me in. That's how our makeup line started. I wanted to celebrate the dark skin, start a pro-dark movement, really, but not against anyone else, but to say to the people, my skin matters. And I always also say, the darker the berry, the juicier it is. So for me, the dark skin means everything. And I remember, as Leanne said, when I was in Las Vegas back then, yeah, I met Donald Trump, by the way. We had a conversation. At that time, he was a bit humble, but things changed. But I remember being in Las Vegas. No one could do my hair. I went to Miss Universe with my short hair. Possibly the first black contestant to go with their short hair, I don't know. But I did. And people asked me, was it a political statement or it was personal? It really was personal. I wasn't trying to be different in any way. I was just conforming to who I am. And who I was at the time was a young girl trying to figure out, but I still felt very African and beautiful with my short hair. And there was no one to do my hair. I remember driving around Las Vegas with my chaperone to look for someone to just at least wash my hair. It took a while. We found someone. They did my hair. They did all right. And then the makeup, they'll mix everything and anything and still could not get my shade. So when I started House of Langa or Langa Cosmetics, it was purely for me to solve my problem, but I also knew I was solving other women's problems. And every single day, the feedback we get, I look at Leanne, I look at Rubimbo, Tracy is there as well. I am here and I'm wearing our own brand, made by us, for us. And I can say we are increasing our shades because the black skin, I don't know how many different shades of black we have, possibly 40. And during my modeling times, there were only 8 shades of white, and yet they had everything. So for me, I keep saying to people who are starting businesses, solve a problem, find something that really is a problem and solve it. Then you can stand on it and also know why you started it. So when Leanne asked me to talk, I was like, oh, wow, just give me 2 minutes. I just want people to know we've got our product outside. I just came back from the UK about a week ago. Our business was one of those that was chosen by the UK government to go and visit industry experts in the UK. We even went to Amazon office in London. We went to some factories in Manchester, Bradford, and some more in London. But one thing that came out strongly was how wonderful our packaging was. And I come from a country where packaging isn't there. But we try, because I always say to people, whatever you're going to do, thrive for excellence. And the fact that I put my name on it, I had to stand by it. So the feedback we got was Zimbabwe is doing well. And these were all 12 women-led businesses that visited the UK. But what came across was the fact that they tried the ingredients, because some of them, they've never heard of them. They're like, I've never heard of baobab oil. I've never heard of marula oil. But what we did, we're pushing culture, heritage. And so when I looked at this and says culture, I was like, wow, they're right up my street. Because I think we celebrate our culture through beauty. That's what House of Langa stands for. So today, what I want to share is whatever you're going to do, please do it well. Don't ever think because you are in Zimbabwe, I'll cut corners. It doesn't work. It comes back to bite your backside. I wanted to say the right word, but I have to be polite. So genuinely, I think whatever you do, do it well. And what Dr. K said, think about what business you're getting into. Know it well. And sometimes I say, we tend to follow what someone else is doing, but without the understanding of the industry. Know your industry. Research, learn, and everything else will follow. So today being the last day of Women's Month, I feel honored to be talking about this, because I think every woman wants to look beautiful. It doesn't matter where you're from. We all want to look beautiful. So what I've decided to do, I don't know whether Lien is aware of this, I'm going to give out vouchers to all the women that are here. And if there's a man who's here who wants to wear makeup, please show yourself up, and I'd love that. Those are my kind of men. And I know there's one man here who's worn our makeup for his wedding. Where is Brian? He looked amazing. Where is Brian? There. So today I'm going to give you all vouchers for the ladies. Let's thank ourselves and pump ourselves. Self-care, beauty, please. Thank you so much. I think my presentation was very straightforward. I don't think anyone has a question because I wasn't talking about mining nor lithium. So, oh, someone has a question. Okay. All right. We are located at 3 Durban Road in Avondale. We are also at the duty-free at the International Airport. We are also in Bulawayo at King's Pharmacy and Rugare Pharmacies. On Facebook, we are House of Langa, Instagram, House of Langa. And I think TikTok, I don't do my social media, but I think we are on TikTok as well. I'm born from the other era where social media is scary. No, I'm joking. Anyone who's got any questions, please. Oh, yes.
I wanted to ask.
You've got a beautiful skin, by the way.
Thank you. Heard of my mother.
You see? Good genes.
I wanted to ask her. So funny enough, speaking of my mom, she had a book at home that I just happened to pick up and started reading.
Yes.
It was about Kubi Chaza Indi.
Yes.
I was just curious, as someone who went through beauty pageants,
okay, he's.
What else, Shouty? Thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you, ma'am, first and foremost. What an incredible presentation. You say we're not excited about makeup, but I think every man in this room benefits a lot from the side effects and effects of makeup, albeit sometimes unknowingly. But ma'am, I just want to say thank you again. I wanted to ask you about Kubi Chaza Indi. So my mom, who you mentioned briefly, you said, I just want to make sure that people didn't hear it. She said I had great skin. And I just want to say I heard it from my mom, right? Who has all these natural, beauty care processes and products. And one of the people that she really looked up to growing up was Kubi Chaza Indi. And I want to know, even if you could maybe briefly talk about it for people in this room who don't know her, who is a former beauty queen from Zimbabwe, who was in a James Bond movie in the 70s, and who started Kubi Cosmetics. And I want to know if that might have been inspiration for you, and if you might be able to speak about who Kubi means to you, and how maybe you carry on that legacy of not only beautiful, but talented Zimbabwean women as well.
Come on.
Oh, we do men's skincare, by the way. I've seen a few beards that kind of need some oil. But no. Kubi, I know of her very, very well. I've met her. We spoke back in the 90s. I keep going back to the 90s. I met Kubi. What an amazing, down-to-earth woman. Because for me, if someone has been in a 007 kind of thing, I'm like, I won't be touched. I'll be floating around. But no, she was very, very, very amazing to me. Then I didn't have an idea of starting a beauty line. I was actually in designing at that time. But when I spoke to her, she inspired me, because when I look back, trying to start a cosmetics line or a skincare, where in Zimbabwe we are so very used to importing big, established, well-known brands, and you are fighting against them. Even when I started, some people will come in and say, Tracy will testify. Some people will come in and they go, Langa, oh, no, I use Bobbi Brown. They really looked down on our products because they assumed they were not good enough. But I researched and I chose even a healthier option for our skincare, because I also understand the effects that some of these skincare or cosmetics, the ingredients that they have. So I looked at it and I wanted a product that I can sleep well at night, knowing I'm not affecting anyone's life. So I thought about that. So you find that our foundation, our skincare, there is no chemical in our products. And we did that intentionally because I know how important our skin is, and it's the biggest organ. So if we're going to mess up with it, we really have a long way to go before we even rectify that. And sometimes it's not even able to rectify it. It's really that dangerous. But what I can say about Kubi as well, I just read about her recently, and someone was asking me, do people really know what she achieved? Do we have a hall of fame in Zimbabwe? Because she will be one of those women that deserve that. Or a star somewhere somewhere. We need that because she definitely deserves that. She's still an amazing woman. We look up to her, we emulate her, and we hope we could be half the women she was.
Okay, we're taking one more.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Miss Langa, how are you? I'm all right. First question, do you have my shade? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. 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 Okay, thank you. So, my real question is, you said you went on a global stage in 1996, obviously with all the stigmas and everything that was going on at that time. Were you always confident in yourself, or it was something that you grew into and so forth? How were you in that time period?
Confidence. I was not as confident at all. I grew up a tall, skinny, very, very awkwardly built person. So when I was a teenager, I was bullied, teased for my height. At some point, I was even teased for the way I looked because some will say, you are not even Zimbabwean, but I am. So I've heard all that. But the worst was when I was younger, when I was told, the names like giraffe, ostrich. I've heard them all, spag for spaghetti. I've heard them all. And I talk about it now, and because I think it's important that people know where I come from. I was born in a rural setting, so moving to Bulawayo was like a shocker. And then at the same time, that's when my height, I just grew. By 16, I was already 6 foot tall and very, very thin. So you can imagine what that is. And when I was at university, I remember I used to wear 2 pairs of jeans. I was at this University of Zimbabwe. I used to wear 2 pairs of jeans just to give myself some fleshing up of some sort. So I started modeling to build my confidence, not to be a model. I remember going into the studio modeling agency, and they were so excited to see me. They started telling me I have a 23-inch waistline, whatnot. Excited about it, something that everyone else was laughing and talking about, and making sure I'm aware that I'm tall and super awkwardly built. So, and then I'm thinking, did modeling change my body? It didn't. It just changed the relationship that I had with my body. I started loving my body. I started embracing those imperfections. And then I look back and I'm like, they were not wrong that I was a giraffe, because a giraffe is the most elegant, it's the supermodel of the jungle. It's got spots that's like no other. It's beautiful to look at. When it walks with a stride like no other. And that was me, but I didn't know that. And then I also say giraffe is so humble. When it drinks water, it bends its head to get, that's another side of me. Quite humble, humility, it goes a long way. So I am that giraffe and I stand by it, but I just didn't know. So no, I wasn't always confident. I became confident because I started to embrace the person that I was.
Okay, we're taking one last question.
Hi, Langa. I know you're talking about. Okay, hi. I know. We're here. Okay. I know you're talking about Langa Cosmetics, but I just want to know Langa can cook you all. I want to know, she wears so many hats, by the way. So I want to know if the restaurant is still open and you still cook. And I remember the last time I was there, my daughter was turning 16, birthday at your restaurant. So I just want to know if you're still cooking.
Okay. Sorry, Lang. I'm gonna take one more, then you can answer them together. I know this one you will like.
Okay. Thank you so much. My name is Ramai Mataranyika. I'm a brand strategist. So first of all, I just want to commend you. You spoke about traveling abroad and taking the name of Zimbabwe and Africa and showing us what we do and that we can do it very well. I also wanted to say, it's important that even as you get more deals and distribution, that you don't forget where you came from. Don't forget that narrative. It's you creating a solution for a market that didn't have access. So don't forget that. Continue to go for that uniqueness, that authenticness. I think you definitely go far. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm starting to have a hot flash. Forgive me, I'm a woman of a certain age. Even if you try. Okay, to answer the lady who's asking me about cooking, actually cooking is my love language. I cook when I'm angry, I cook when I'm happy, I just cook. And sometimes I don't even know who I'm cooking for, but I just love cooking. Yes, the restaurant is still open. And the restaurant started off during COVID, like I said. And because we're not allowed to open to the public, I started making these meals that take longer to cook. And I told people we are cooking this and they came. So our menu changed drastically when people then started eating my oxtail, my pork bones. I'm sorry, you know what? I lived overseas for a long time, but one thing that I never lost was who I am, my culture. Even when I was overseas, living where I was, I always cooked in Zondora. I will always cook in Takura. That's just me. And I was married to a person who had never, ever eaten Zondora, but I introduced them because I am proud of my food, my culture. So I brought it to them. So yeah, food is my favorite. So yeah. I still cook, and you can come. We're still open. We're still at 3 Durban Road. Thank you, everyone. I hope to see you when you redeem your vouchers. Thank you so much for the support.
Thank you so much. Yeah, today we've got a full house. So please work with me. Please work with me. Thank you. We have a full house. So if everyone makes a comment, we will definitely not hear each other. Thank you. Thank you so much, Langa from Langa Cosmetics, the sponsor of tonight's event. Ladies, you'll get your vouchers on your way out. Also, Langa has brought some of her products here. If you want to try them out, I always say they are foundation free. So I have no foundation on. Everything is in powder form. So I like it. It's light on my skin. So she brought some products outside. Please do check them out. If you want to purchase any products, they are here. They are outside. They're readily available. All right. So now we're moving to our second conversation leader. Remember, Langa was our spotlight conversation leader. Second and the last. After this, we can then all network. We can still come and ask our conversation leaders some questions. They're still here until we get tired, I think. Yes, so allow me to introduce Miss Ifeoma. I keep getting, I tried, right? Because it's spelled Ifeoma. So it's Ifeoma. Okay, Ifeoma Garba. All right. Current title, she's the head of external relations, WFP Zimbabwe. She's the head of external relations at the World Food Programme in Zimbabwe and a seasoned development practitioner with over 20 years of experience across the humanitarian, development, and private sectors. Her expertise spans across partnership management, gender equality, results-based programming, and strategic engagement with governments, donors, and the private sector. Throughout her career, Ifeoma has contributed to the design of multiple country strategic plans, development partnership and resource mobilization strategies, led capacity building initiatives, and served on high-level technical and advisory committees. She is particularly passionate about building bridges between the public sector, private sector, and developmental partners to deliver sustainable impact at scale. Excuse me. Beyond her professional roles, Ifeoma holds a master's degree in public policy and management from the University of York in the United Kingdom, and she has completed additional studies at the University of Jos in Nigeria. Is that University of Jos in Nigeria? Thank you. A proud Nigerian, Ifeoma believes deeply in critical engagement, community voice, practical solutions. She is a mother, a role she often describes as the most important leadership position she holds, and the one that keeps her grounded when global development conversations become a little too global. Please help me welcome Miss Ifeoma Garba.
You did a good job. You tried.
Thank you. Please, I stand corrected.
You did a good job with the name. My name is Ifeoma Garba. So it's Ifeoma, but the I is like silent. I'm not sure why it exists. But it's pronounced Efoma. So it'll be Ifeoma. Yeah. My surname is Garba. I'm sure our friends, anybody from the Muslim world, this is a popular name there. Okay, so I work with the United Nations World Food Programme, as she had said, and my context is a bit different from what you guys are used to having here, which is just from the private sector, right? So just by show of hands, how many of us know the World Food Programme? Just by show of hands. Fantastic. So how many of us know what the World Food Programme does in Zimbabwe? By show of hands. Okay, so you see the numbers have changed drastically. Okay, the best thing about having this segment is that everybody has had a little to drink, including the people that are speaking. So most of the things will fly above our heads. But I thank Doc for laying the foundation from what I'm about to say now. We're supposed to be talking about the global context and the effect that it has on us here in Zimbabwe. I'll start by asking you another question again. How many of you are familiar with the Zimbabwe Livelihood Assessment Reports? It's called the ZIMLAC. Yay, some people know it. Okay, so according to the ZIMLAC in Zimbabwe, right? I'm just gonna start, there are two ways I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start with something that's called like for the food for thought for all of us, just to think about the context that we're living in here in Zimbabwe. According to that report, we have within the lean season, which is from October usually to March, right? That's when the rains are on. And that's when farmers are busy planting, so we don't have enough food and all that. According to that report, in the rural areas of Zimbabwe, we have about 1.5 million people who are completely food insecure. That means they will not be able to access food at all during that period. What's the population of Zimbabwe? About 16 million. So 1.5 million is what? Roughly about 10%. And that's just in the rural areas. In the urban areas, we have 1.4 million food insecure people in the urban areas. And this food insecurity is at its peak between the months of October to December and January to March, right? So the reason for me being here today is to help to paint a picture of what the country would look like if the global events the doctor has just spoken about continues. We have said now that one of the few things that has happened now is that fuel has gone up, right? The price of fuel has gone up, meaning the price of transportation will go up, housing, food, everything will go up. So what do you think will happen to those figures that I have just mentioned now? They will probably double, quadruple, triple. And what does that mean for Zimbabwe as a country? Much more food insecurity, a lot more poor people around. And given the events, I know he spoke about the President of America a lot. I work for the World Food Program, so I cannot take sides. I cannot be seen to take sides with anybody. So I'm just gonna say this. At the beginning of 2025, do you remember what happened? He shut down all humanitarian aid. My organization was 68% funded by the US government to do the work that we're doing. So what do you think the impact of that is? There were people who lost their jobs, meaning there was no livelihoods for those families that were already working. So, like I said, I'm just gonna put that out there in terms of food for thought. We've lost that funding stream. Other quote-unquote traditional donors, as they call themselves, are also closing embassies in Zimbabwe. Sweden will be moving out of Zimbabwe by August. They shut down administrative work here by end of July. By August, they're clearing out as well. What does that mean for us? In terms of these people I'm talking about now, the most food insecure, not us in Denga, not us having our gin and tonics, like some of us. I don't know what the rest of you are drinking. But we're not talking about us. We're talking about the effects that these global decisions are having on us here in Zimbabwe. Somebody talked about tax. What do you think will happen if this continues? Somebody talked about the price of fuel. Doctor talked about different stages of what will happen when this happens, right? So if the war in Iraq continues, because everybody is fighting for themselves, as they should. If you were the US, you'd be fighting for your country as well. You're Zimbabwean, you want your country to grow. I'm from Nigeria. We are already facing even more of the effects of this war. In Zimbabwe, you still have peace and security. In some of those countries, they're already rioting, protesting, burning down infrastructure because of the global decisions that have been taken. Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to move from that now to something else. All of you here are in the private sector. Most, anyway. Anybody else working in the humanitarian or development sector here? Yay, my partners in crime. Yes. Right, right? Now, when people like WFP who were funded by the US government have no more resources, who will be left to take care of the people that we need to take care of before our countries go bust?
Gold mines.
Who?
Gold mines.
Your gold mines might not even function. Because when people get hungry, what happens? They fight, they steal. Your security that you have here in Zimbabwe, which is something I truly treasure, might not be here again. People take up arms. I'll give you an example. In Nigeria, as of 2002, nobody knew that we had things that existed or would turn it into insurgency until some things went really bad. People started taking up arms. We had Nigerians blowing themselves up. I'd never heard of that growing up. We love life more than anything, but we're blowing ourselves up now. Just to tell you that when things get really bad, shit goes down. Yeah? Do not record that. Yeah? So, and after this happens, we all think we're happy, we're safe, we're doing everything now, but when the shit hits the fan, we will all suffer. And we're not thinking about that. And that's one of the things that the leader that he mentioned or said something about does not think about these consequences. These are some of the things that will continue to haunt us while this is going on. Because it also brings out the fact that oh yeah, I can actually do this. Why can't I blow something up down there and people will listen to me? Yeah? And that's why I'm here today, just to highlight some of the things that could happen. You spoke about globalization. I know the UN is big on globalization, but I also know that the UN has been affected in the last 11, 12 months on how it's thinking and reshaping itself. We've lost workers, even in my office, we lost about 50 people. So Christina, am I right? About 50 people have gone because now we have no resources to be able to take care of that. Other UN agencies as well have shut down or are moving out. UNHCR, which used to take care of the refugees that are here in Zimbabwe, they've packed up. They have no resources anymore. And we were not thinking long term before this. But after this happened, we've all started to rethink and reshape ourselves. And one of the things that I am currently doing in Zimbabwe is looking for private sector organizations and also reminding the government of its responsibility to its people. And that is my role here. And for all of you here, I heard Samson talking about tariffs and bringing in and importing stuff. I heard somebody else asking about some of the other things. What is wrong with us producing, manufacturing, and doing those things here in Zimbabwe? You have the resources here. You have human capital. Zimbabwe has one of the highest literacy rates, not just in Africa, but across. If there's any condition that people look for when they're investing in a country, is can the people read right? Do they know how to handle this themselves? And you do. Zimbabweans are very hardworking, very resilient. We left you alone for God knows how many years. You survived and you're still here. And you're thriving. Yeah? So what stops us in Zimbabwe as Africans from investing in ourselves? Why can't Samsung open up a factory here? Do not quote me. No, but seriously, why can't that happen? Seriously, why can't we do that here? Why can't you bring all those industries here? You have no wars in Zimbabwe. You have no fight going on. There's nothing happening here that stops you from doing that. You have the young population. Your population is about 60% young people. Does anybody work in ZimWorks here? Nobody from ZimWorks is here. You get resources, right? You use your young people to solve solutions and develop things that are working in other countries. Why are we not doing it here? All of us here in the private sector, right? We're talking, most of us are in the private sector. Some are in my field as well down there. Why are we not investing in our country in terms of making things work here? Why is the infrastructure not the way it's supposed to be? You asked about AI. Policy is great, but we have to make it work. Why are we investing in the UK, Australia, the US? Why are we not doing it here? And why am I sweating again? Where so many women of a certain age. Yeah? But I'm actually asking an honest question. Why are we not doing that here? Why? Why do we only have to have sales points for iPhone? You're manufacturing here. Why are we going to China to bring in grinders? I work for WFP. Every day we go out, they're like, no, imports from here. You have to buy from here. Procurement from here. Tariff from here. Why is it when it comes in from China, it's free? Why? Why? I know I might be sounding really naive, but it's just for you to think about it. Why do you have University of Chinoy, Science and Technology University, or NUST? Why do you train all those young people? What do you want to do with it at the end of the day? So they sell SIM cards. Yeah? And this is not a Zimbabwe problem. It's an African Problem. Why do we stand here and say things are working in other places, but we can't make it work here? Why do you have so many fantastic schools in Zimbabwe where you pay a fortune for your kids to go to school, and then they graduate, and then you move them to Australia? Why? Why am I talking for the UN and still asking you these questions? Why? 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 There's corruption everywhere else. Corruption is not exclusive to Africans. We don't trust each other. One. What else? Thank you, my brother. It's our mindset. You said something very critical when you were talking. You said when you were manufacturing your stuff here, a lot of people would tell you, no, it's not Mac, it's not Bobby Brown. Is that your father or mother? Let me switch to my Niger lingo. That's not your father, not your mother. I don't understand it. Huh? Complete. And then some other people switch off the lights. Yeah? We don't. And what is our responsibility as captains of industry? Doc, you've been on several boards. I'm not singling you out, I'm just saying, right? You've been on several boards. My organization is also under fire for the work we've done here. We've been here for over 20 years. And we haven't seen the food security situation improve. When WFP came to Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe was a food procurement hub for not giving anybody food here. We were not going to any villages, nothing to distribute food. We were only buying to send to other parts. Zimbabwe was the food basket of the region. And we used to just get commodities here. Our office was very small. I think it had like 15 or 16 people. What happened? And now we're here looking for money to distribute food. Why are we doing that? Why should we be actually the ones doing that in the country? And what is your role as a private sector, government, humanitarian people? What is it that you're going to do about it? How do we move this dial? Don't step on this again, huh? So like I said, I was supposed to talk. I had a whole long speech, but after listening to some of the things here, I just kept asking myself, why? Why are we in this situation? Why? 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 Anybody else wants to help me out with why? Please. You can use this one.
All right. I don't know. A lot of people might not like what I have to say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Let me move away.
Because you're asking the question why, but I think it's deep rooted. It's within our consciousness. I think the fact that we prescribe to borders that were made by 15 white men in Berlin, and then we create governments for those exact same borders. Well, that means our governments are legitimized by those exact same men who put us in that place. There's no reason why we should be importing fuel from Iran when we have Angola next door and we haven't built a pipeline to service Southern Africa. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't want to get too into it, but the problem is deep-rooted and it's systemic and it will take a long time to fix and it requires a long-term vision, which we are not. Unfortunately, at the moment, we are very reactive and we want the quick solutions, and we are not prepared to say there are future generations that will come after us that will benefit from the work we may not actually benefit from as well.
Thank you. So we have to be intentional. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think the problem is a bit two-way. Number one, there's what we can do and there's what already does exist. I prefer no camera for this one. Please, no camera. So you notice sometime in 2019, there was SI 33 of 2019. What it did is it converted all existing balances on a 1:1. That means if you had money in your bank account as 5 million, at that particular time, it became 5 million RTGS. That means for every individual who was an investor at that particular time, they lost. Not only did they lose, it also meant that even the social security system in itself, those who also even had pension funds, they also did lose at the end of the day. So one, there's what we can do, and there's also the security of the contracts that then exist in Zim, which is why then it becomes very difficult for companies to want to invest in Zim. But not only that, you notice that also each year, each tax budget comes with a new tax, which makes it difficult as a barrier to trade. Thank you.
I do 100% agree with you, but the solution is not to cross our hands and say, these are the twofold problems we have. And this is the parallel universe we now have to live in. We have to deal with those situations. And that's the question, and that's the fear of most of us Africans. We are complacent. After a while, we're like, yeah, but that's how the system works. Let's just deal with it that way. I do agree with you. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not but we need to be able to break ourselves from the mold. There's so many hands now. Okay, hold on.
Okay, thank you very much. I've been in the civic sector for quite a while. I'm actually volunteering for 2 at the moment. And one thing that Okay, I was saying, my name is Samantha. I'm a legal practitioner, but I've been working with the civic sector for a while. And one thing that I've realized is it's just the dependency. If I've been feeding you and feeding you and feeding you and feeding you and feeding you, there is no way I would rather work because I know what food program is just going to come and give me food. So I think we have to unlearn the system of just being fed and fed and fed and try to bring solutions to ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our come to Jesus moment is that there's no money to keep feeding and feeding people. That pipe is closed.
Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? We're good. So as a farmer myself, I'm newly in this, by the way. My parents have been doing it for about 5 years. Why are we importing things we can export? That's been my question. So I get what you were talking about with the figures and all the problematics that we faced prior. But right now, we are in 2026. What can we do differently now? We're the new farmers, as they call us now. So we are innovative, and we have a different mindset that they had back then. Can we bring innovation into farming? Can we export things from Zimbabwe? Because I was in England. I saw so much in Tesco's and Sainsbury's, and it's from other countries, but they're coming to get it from Zimbabwe, but it's packaged in different locations, but not here. Can we stop buying things that are imported into Zimbabwe? Can we start exporting things? And that's something I think we need to bring back production in Zimbabwe. And that's something I'm going to be working on. Hopefully more people are on this.
Thank you very much. Value addition, value addition. So it's not about just turning maize into sadza, right? It's about what can we do? How can we make it more nutritious? Oh my God, let me go down there.
Thank you so much, Madam Ifeoma. I think this discussion is very important because I think the lady over there with the braids, love your braids, she mentioned something about respect, but another word is hope. A lot of people, there's brain drain in Southern Africa, specifically in Zimbabwe. We have a lot of educated people leaving. I was one, I left. I stayed in Switzerland for 5 years plus. And what I learned there was that people who are young and who work in the government trust their government. And they trust their government to provide for them such that when they get educated, they're able to give back to the economy, trusting that if they don't have work, they get a stipend or an income called chômage, meaning that you're not working, so you get 80% of your previous income. Yeah. Not only that, if with other countries, unfortunately, their governments support them. So they have some form of social services that unfortunately we lost because of what our brother mentioned there. Yeah, right. And so the young people, although they want to invest back in Zimbabwe, and all of you are doing wonderful things in our economy, but the ones who want to come back are discouraged because of hopelessness. Yeah. That when we see the state of the country the way it is currently, we want to come back. But the question is now, what will I do when I get there? Yeah. Will I be welcomed when I come home? I can tell you I've been here for over a year. It was so difficult for me to get a job here. I don't even know why. My CV is full. But people kept saying, oh no, don't worry, we'll call you. And I'm like, but why haven't they called me? But in Switzerland, if they said they'll call you, they will call you. They will send you an email.
And so for me, I think that level of trust and lack of hope that is there within us is contributing to the lack of investment from the young people. I'm speaking for myself here, but I know other people feel the same way.
Correct. I know there is a sense of hopelessness when you come to certain things. And to be honest, this is not Zimbabwe specific, right? Like I said, I'm talking about most of Africa now, maybe not all of it, but the experiences that we've had in a lot of places in Africa. But I still don't think we should give up hope. I think we need to invest. I think that we need to also have, like my brother over there said, there has to be some kind of reorientation happening to us here within the country, and even for those in the diaspora. Nobody's going to build our countries but us, as we're discovering now. Like I said, we woke up on the 24th of January, and taps were closed. Shut down your projects, close down, return all the cars. It's over. Father Christmas is no longer giving us gifts. So we have to look inwards, or we're going to have an even bigger problem than what we have now. Okay, so let me give.
Yes. Someone has to say something. Huh? No. Maybe someone doesn't say anything.
All right. So there have been so many beautiful things that we said today, and absolutely valid. I have also questions like you. I think it's a matter of perception. I feel like as African people, at a certain point, at a certain time, we have to realize that it is only our perception that is stopping us from growing. And I'll give you a personal testimony from our business. It is only when we had international clients, we had registered our business in South Africa and in the UK, that we started being hired by Zimbabwean countries. We're still the same people. It's still Stacey and Nomsa. We haven't changed. We're still Black. But because we are in the UK and South Africa, now we're hireable. Wow! Come on, Zimbabwean companies. You've got talent in your country. You've got potential in your country. We've got, in the industry that we're in, we've got the best creative minds around here. We've got the best creatives, the best designers, winning Lurie Awards in South Africa. There are Zimbabwean people winning Lurie Awards, going out there, winning awards, and we have the talent, but I'm not going to be given the opportunity until I put a UK brand on it. And I have to register it. So I think it's a mind thing. It's a perception thing. We need to be proud of who we are. This is why I love things like what Langa is doing. Like, come on. We need to do things for us, built for us, by us, to build us, to make us greater. Because right now, as Africans, America, scale-wise, I literally saw something on online the other day on research. America fits into Africa.
Yes.
Why are we coveted by borders? We need to think bigger. Why do I need a visa to go to Zambia, to Nigeria? Why do I need, when in America somebody can just come from one state to another, why is it America as one? And I think it's a matter of perception of the African people. We need to change our perception.
Okay. Okay, so we are at cocktails and conversations, and the conversations are indeed flowing. We have two more comments. I know there's a lot more hands. I don't even want to turn. Yes, so two more comments. Like I said earlier, our conversation leaders are still here, so we can have these up until we get tired.
Thank you, and I agree with a lot of what everyone has said. Thank you, Ifeoma, for your presentation. I think I would like to say the two things that I believe are
at least in my perception, are the biggest challenges that we have as Zimbabweans is, first of all, we lack confidence. And I'm not saying it's, I'm not blaming anyone, but we complain so much. I think the problems are pretty much clear. So when we keep on complaining, it becomes redundant. We need more problem solving sort of mindset and skills, etc. Okay, fine, if you don't have the solution, let's find whoever has the solution and can brainstorm, and then we move over from there. The second thing that I would like to highlight is also we can't underestimate how backwards, I have to use that word, our regulatory and governance sort of attitude, even amongst ourselves, is what we consider to be innovation. Let's say, for example, I think it was Bandura University when COVID happened, they were producing, I think it was sanitizer and saying that this is an innovation. Like, come on. It's 2022. We can't be still talking about these things. Even I think when we talk about AI, right? All of these AI platforms, none of them are African. All of their bases and everything are in in America, right? The chips that you use, they're in Taiwan, right? So how can we then, how do we develop? So I think we really need to reorient and raise the standard. We talk about education, but some of the things that are in the universities and the schools, remember most Zimbabweans don't go to private schools. They don't go to private universities. What is the standard of education of a child that's starting grade 1 today? So when we say Zimbabweans are highly educated, are we by 2026 standards? Yes. Are we really? Yes. So I don't know. Yes, anyway, thank you.
Nomsa said something very important. Nomsa said something very important. Said, why do I need a visa to go to Nigeria? Last year, I got the opportunity to go to Algeria and Cairo on business, again, as one of the businesses that were chosen to exhibit in the Inter-Africa Trade Fair. To get to Algeria, which is in Africa, I had to travel from here to Dubai. I had to go out of the continent to come back to it. And then the Nigerian people were exhibiting. They left, Algeria and Nigeria are not that far apart. They left Nigeria and went to Doha and came back to Africa. And then the South Africans went from Joburg to Ethiopia, Addis to Paris, from Paris back to Algeria. I found, they went to Ethiopian Airlines went to Paris first. And I found that frustrating. And I thought, so why are we even saying we are Africans if we can't reach each other so easily? And there are airlines. Ethiopian is an airline in Africa. So why did I have to go to Paris to come back to Africa? It's just a point that, you made, and I think it has to be solved as well so that we can reach each other fairly and better.
Can I close? 2 more hours. Okay. Gamu.
Okay, I just want to add on to what Ms. Langa said about reaching each other as Africans, and also what Dr. Kanyekanye said about the African Free Continental Trade Area, the AFCFTA. So what they are trying to do is they are trying to create a single market for Africans, right? But still, I think we need to move from policy to implementation, because it's good on paper, but implementation, we are still very far.
Wow. Thank you so much for these conversations. They are indeed flowing. They're good. Some of us are learning. Those that want to learn are learning, right? Public service announcement, everyone. Remember, Cultured Republik is not TC, Ruhibo, and Leanne. We are Cultured Republik. It's the community. It's all of us here. Therefore, we are inviting you. This is exciting. We were invited to bring Cultured Republik to a fashion networking event that is being hosted by the British Council and House of Stone. Yes? So that's why I'm saying it's a public service announcement, because we are Cultured Republic. We have been invited to go and host this event on Thursday at Newlands Country Club, 5:30 p.m. Anyone here without Easter plans? Without Easter plans? Yes. So can we go? I saw a lot of creatives or people that look like they're creatives in here. I'm not one necessarily, but I will be there. I will dress up. So please visit our Instagram page, Cultured Republic, for the link. Please do your RSVP. We are hosting, guys. Tisu and Wacho. So we have to go. We all have to show up. But we must RSVP, right? Let's just do the needful. All right. Thank you. Before we close off, we just want to give away a few gifts, as we always do. We have 2 bottles of wine sponsored by Denga by Upstate. Thank you so much, Denga by Upstate, for always, for the venue, for always taking care of us. As always, we always pick a card from here. Those that brought business cards, those that mean business, drop their business cards in here. So we're going to ask. It's too late. It's too late. Okay, I'll allow you to drop your cards. Please get me that one as well. Where were you? Okay, guys. All right, this is how it's going to go. Our 2 conversation leaders are going to pick 2 business cards, and you get to go home with a bottle of wine courtesy of Denga by Upstate. We do have more gifts, so just hang tight. And ladies, don't forget to pick up your vouchers on your way out. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Please announce.
Corp Holdings. What's the name of the person now? Mutisa?
Mutsa Samuel Kajis.
Mutsa. Who's Mutsa then?
Okay, so we've got Corp Holdings, Mutsa Samuel Kajese. All right, so you get to tell us what you do, but you already told us what you do, right? Congratulations, you get to go home with a bottle of wine courtesy of Denga by Upstate. Thank you. All right, Dr. Kanyekanye, please help us with the other card.
Faith Vieira from Power Station.
Oh, she left.
She left?
Yes, she left.
Okay. This one is Dr. Ratizo Tangadura. Chengetai.
She left.
She left.
Left us. No, there she is. Come.
Yes. Wow. Congratulations. You get to tell us what you do in less than 30 seconds. There you go.
Hi, I'm Rati. I'm a medical doctor, and I am the founder and chairperson of a charity organization named Chingitai, and we do reproductive health education in less privileged societies in Zimbabwe, and we've been going for the past 8 years.
Thank you for joining us and congratulations. Please pause for the camera. All right. Okay, so next I am, remember, Panama presents at Ambo promise for Samsung. Yeah, remember that? At Kangane, we don't forget. I'd like to call upon the country manager of Samsung Zimbabwe, Mr. Garikai Wekwete. Yes, it's not gonna win on my phone. Anyway, he has 3 hampers to give away. As you all know, we caught him off guard today because, so these hampers are going to be delivered. The people that win them are going to give us their addresses and contact details, and they will be delivered courtesy of Samsung Zimbabwe. The first hamper goes to, you said you want to ask a question, right?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, those who didn't participate earlier. My name is Garai Okweta. I'm the country manager. I work for Samsung, the company. We are the 4th largest chip manufacturer in the world. We are the biggest smartphone brand in the world. We are the biggest. Actually, I won't say that one because it'll give away the answer. But the question that I'll say is, okay, we are the biggest TV manufacturer, biggest seller for TVs for 20 years consecutively. So the question will be, for how many years have we been the #1 top-selling brand for TV? And the closest answer, or the correct is the one that I will give to Tracy. And it's correct, it's actually 20 years. So congratulations, Tracy. We have been 20 years in a row, #1 TV brand. So the other questions I'll give back to Leanne to just go ahead with it.
Okay, so we as Cultured Republik are so grateful for our, for you guys as the community. You always support us. It's a Tuesday. You could be anywhere else. You could be home, actually. So every episode of Cultured Republik, we give away something to somebody who is consistent. There's many of you, so we stagger it over the episodes. So today we want to also thank you for allowing us to present this hamper to one of the consistent members of our community, and that is Carol. So Carol, maybe it's a washing machine. All right, so Carol, you get to say what you do in 30 seconds, and you get a photo with the manager of Samsung.
Oh, wow. I'm so excited. My name is Caroline. I sell clothes, and I'm also a hustler. Like during the week, you find me on the street wearing my tights and my caps. And then on functions like this, that's when I get to dress up and all of that because I sell clothes. Thank you. He's asking what brand I use. I use an ITEL.
Yeah. You may just be upgraded. All right, so our last. Thank you. So there's perks of being consistent with us, as you can see. Our last hamper I would like to present you to a male version of, a consistent member of our community, and that is Joseph. Joseph, you get to say what you do in less than 30 seconds.
So, hello everyone. My name is Joseph. As was being said before, we should move to solar. So it's convenient because that's what I'm into. So all your renewable energy from home systems, commercial systems, even farming, and incorporate solar into that. So for everything solar, we do it for you, and we do it well. Warranties and everything. Come to us, you won't be disappointed. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure Dr. Kanyekanye is happy about it. He said everyone should go off-grid. Last but not least, would like to present our token of appreciation to our 2 conversation leaders, Dr. Kanyekanye and yes. Thank you so much. Please allow me to thank our country manager for Samsung Zimbabwe. I may not have a Samsung phone, but my washing machine and my TV are Samsung. I think it counts for something, right? Yes. Dr. Kanyekanye and Ifeoma, please come up. Thank you so much. If you want to, our gifts are sponsored by Lighting Hub. Thank you, Lighting Hub, for sponsoring the gifts that we give to our conversation leaders.
Thank you for joining us this evening.
And if you have final remarks, do you have closing remarks? Or you're okay?
We can start.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. You start and then I'll.
Right. I'm told I should have final remarks. The only thing that I can do is to tell you what happened when I was at high school. We had a guy in the debating club who never said anything, and he was asked to do a speech. And he simply said, responsibility, responsibility. We should all be responsible. Thank you for everyone who was responsible.
Okay, I can't say the same for myself. But all I like to say is buy Zimbabwe, make Zimbabwe, be Zimbabwe, Africa for Africa.
Thank you. Thank you. You may take your seats. We also want to thank once again our sponsors for today, House of Langa. Ruvimbo and I always look good, I want to believe. And last but not least, I would like to mention, have you seen our photos, guys, after every event? And our content I've known him since before he went to school of photography. He was called Perfect Gray then. But he's got a new name that I'm really failing to pronounce.
Yeah, only people who went to private school can pronounce. It's Lume Atelier.
Lume Atelier. We move as a team. We support each other at Cultured Republik. So if you have any event that needs photography, that needs filming, please do reach out to Lume Atelier, and previously known as Perfect Gray. Before we end, I'm going to call upon TC, the founder of Cultured Republik, to come and give us his final remarks. Thank you, TC.
Thank you very much. Not final remarks as such, but vote of thanks. What we do with every episode of Cocktails and Conversation is just a little summary of what our amazing conversation leaders have gone through. We'll start with Dr. K. Dr. K, if you guys remember when he was talking, he said the result of this war is going to be massive. We need to be very careful of how we're going to operate our businesses. How can we prepare and operate in this reality within a local context? If you remember, one of the things he mentioned was focus on renewable energy. One of our regular members here was speaking about he does solar. That's one of the things that we need to put our focus in. Don't invest in a business that is primarily built or founded on fossil fuels. That's going to be bad for you. Restructure your business accordingly. But above all, please, can you brace yourself? There's going to be a recession. There's going to be something that you are going to have to change within your personal business. So that was just a reminder. Can we please give Dr. K another round of applause? Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to say Ms. Garba because I forgot. Ifeoma. Okay, there we go, Ms. Garba. Thank you very much. She said everything has gone up, even within her industry. She highlighted how even funding for NGOs has been pulled away, as that the rug has been pulled under our feet. What are we going to do? And one of the critical things she asked was, why? Why are we in this situation? And this sparked a very beautiful conversation. I'm not going to go through what everyone said, but you guys remember, go home and think why. Think in your own business. Why? Why am I thinking like this? What mindset do I need to change? And what can I do to effect change personally, but also effect change for the whole nation? I need to think about certain things I can put into place that's going to basically improve everything. Thank you very much, Ms. Garba. And thank you for inciting that wonderful conversation you did. Now, as we wrap up, this is the 12th month of Cocktails and Conversations. I would like to say thank you Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to my team. Leanne, beautiful, awesome moderator. You guys have seen her tonight. How wonderful is she? Another round of applause, Leanne. We've got Ruimbo in the team. Ruimbo has been in the background, but she has done a lot of work. Thank you very much, Ruimbo, for your beautiful work that you've done. Taylor's the one who does our music. Thank you, Taylor. We appreciate. We've got Tanatswa and Phil. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Awesome work that you've been doing. And right at the door, Memory and Rumbi. I know you guys probably can't hear me, but thank you very much for your great work. The team at Denga, all the waitresses, the bartenders, the beautiful work you've been doing, thank you very much. We appreciate it. But above all, I would like to thank you guys. You guys who support us, please continue supporting us. Remember, every last Tuesday of the month, we have cocktails and conversations, and we've got a lot more events as we try to progress this lifestyle empowerment movement. Please enjoy the rest of your night. The drinks will keep flowing. The cocktails are here. If you want to order some food, please go ahead. Thank you very much.
Open the floor.
Open the floor.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Please take pictures. Ladies, on your way out, you've got your vouchers from Langa Cosmetics. I don't want to run into any of you looking dodge. And let's take pictures. Let's conversate. Please tag us. Please follow our social media pages. That's where we post most of our events. So from myself and the team, I'd like to say thank you. And the floor is officially open to networking, food, and good drinks. Thank you.
Oh, and thank you. Thank you for what did I do? Oh, for helping us put it together.
How are you doing?
General, thank you for coming and always showing up.
I want to find out, how do we commit to sponsoring to Cultured Republik?
Oh, okay. So you come on board as a conversational spotlight or also
Sponsoring
as
and conversation.
yes,
Right,
so
yeah.
as a conversation leader.
So
then
what
we can
do I-
also do a take-off of the whole event as well. Yeah, so we do have a rate card, very favorable. So then you just send us
Can you,
details.
because like, I think yours only is the same thing, the rate card.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Guy, you already texted me.
You read on my video. So I'll just send you a reminder.
Yeah. So we already have a rate card. So even if it's not yet there, we've got other good relationships with other
No, for me
venues
it's
as well.
for this specific
For
event.
this, okay.
Because I work in the CEO's office for Liquid as their advisor. So it's something I want to take on, especially the conversation with AI.
So we can do that. Then you can just take over. Then we can just brand this whole space with
Yeah.
your branding. We've also had Simoko come on board and actually sold like 2 cars that week.
Yeah. No, because I actually just need to do a takeover.
Okay. So that's fine. So tomorrow,
You can
I can
send me an
send you
email.
an email.
And
Yeah.
then also let me know which months are not yet.
Or taken on our
Taken,
calendar.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you want to come and be the take over. So you are going to provide
Well,
the
we might need
conversation
other
leaders.
speakers.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that
That's
you will
fine.
recommend. But then ideally, I want to do